hope is that we all get it. Don't give in to the pain, just keep living, cause
got dreams I'm striving for. So I'm gonna live higher. I'm gonna live higher. I got dreams I'm striving.
What's up, guys? It's Toby Rosario, and in today's video I wanted to talk about a pretty common question that I get where people reach out to me. How do you find cash buyers for your wholesale deals? Well, the truth is that's actually the easiest part of the business, right? The hardest part, what you're going to find is the hardest part is actually finding a seller, a motivated seller, right? Someone who needs to sell, not someone who wants to sell you the property at a discount. That is the hardest part of the business. Buyers are a dime a dozen. Okay, so I want you to get that limiting belief out of your head, right? Buyers are a dime a dozen, right? There's plenty of buyers. There's just not enough deals out there, right? Meaning it's essentially it's harder to find a deal than it's harder to find a buyer. Make sense? So before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification. That way you get notified whenever I post a new video. Also, give this video a like. It does help with the algorithm. We're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to just outline all the ways that I know to find cash buyers, right? Some of these, if not all of these, I've used in one form or the other. But these are the ways that I know of. I don't use all of them because I've just kind of built over the years a buyer's list, or I know how to just go about it a certain way to find my cash buyers. So what I like to use, now this is going to depend really on your area, right? So a ghost ad. Ghost ad is essentially a bandit sign, right? And what a bandit sign would do, let me go ahead and put this here. So where you would find this would be dirtcheapsigns.com. That's where you would get your bandit signs. So what you would do, you would get a yellow sign or a white sign, and you would make up a deal that you actually doesn't exist. Okay, so if you're afraid, if you're getting started and you're afraid that you don't have a buyer's list, you should be building your buyer's list while you're actively looking for deals. Again, that buyers are a dime a dozen. But so what you would do is you would get these signs, right? And then you would you would make up a deal. So if you're looking for cash buyers in a particular range, as far as price range, you would just put 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 75,000, cash buyers only, and your phone number, preferably CallRail or a Google Voice number, right? And you would just emphasize, I put underline cash buyers only, right? So you're gonna get two types of calls. You're gonna get someone, maybe you're probably gonna get a wholesaler calling you, but you can tell if it's a wholesaler or not, right? Or you can just ask them straight up, are you a wholesaler, yes or no, right? But you'll be surprised, you're gonna get a lot of people, a lot of investors who would reach out to those because they're looking to buy. So what you would do is you would, once they call and ask about that particular property, so in this case, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 75,000 cash buyers only, your phone number, you would call them, they would call you, and then you would tell them, oh, I just sold that property, it's not available, but let me get your information, your phone number, your email. You ask them probing questions. What areas do you like to buy in? What price range do you like to, what do you like to be in? What kind of, how many square footage, year build, certain zip codes. You would just ask them, how many deals have you done? How many flips have you done? Things like that. You can vet those buyers like that. But you're going to get a lot of calls from those signs. So that's one way. Again, the way you would get those signs is dirtcheapsigns.com. I think they're $1 or so. What else? So you would have, so another way is auction, right? You would go to a auction where they sell properties. Now here's what you're going to do. So this way you would find out who is actually buying, because when you go to an auction, you have to put a deposit the day of the auction. You do have to put a deposit. So if you bid on a property and you gain that bid, you have to put a deposit that day. So that tells you they have cash because they have to put a deposit that day. And if they don't close on it, they're gonna lose that deposit, right? So these buyers, they have to be cash. Obviously, they go to the auction to buy cash because they're gonna try to buy properties at a discount as well. So that's a good way, and they're usually held at the county. You just have to look for share sales in your county, your particular area. And then another way is a list source hack. I'll have the link in the description. Basically, you would just find out how to zip codes. I have a video about that. You would find out how to zip codes, and then you can skip trace those names and you would reach out to them and let them know that you're a wholesaler in the area. You find off-market deals, and if they want to be added to your buyers list. Okay, so I'll have the link below for that video. And then Facebook groups, you would just search. I have a video on that as well, so I'm not going to go too deep into that, but essentially you would join Facebook groups where where there's investors, right? Now the thing with the Facebook groups, a lot of them people are wholesalers, so you do want to vet those people. Just ask them straight up, are you a wholesaler or are you actual cash buyer? But you would just post a deal in the Facebook group, and then you would tell them to drop their email below. If you have a deal on the contract, you would post it in those groups. They do have a lot of groups, and you'll be surprised there actually are some cash buyers in those groups. And then the fifth one is you join other, I have another video on this as well. You'll join other wholesalers lists in your area. Okay, and then what you can do is you can look up the property address. You can keep track of a deal that they sold, right? So if they blast out an email listing the property address, you will look it up in the county. Again, I have a video on this. You would look up the owner. Well, you would keep track of that deal, right? So let's just say it's 123 Main Street. You will look it up, right, to the county, find out, and then keep track of it. Wait like 30 days or so, and find out who actually bought it. If it's an LLC, you can skip trace that as well, or you can send them a letter, or like a letter, and see who bought that. So that's another way to do that. And this one is very, very underutilized, is your sphere of influence. And what do I mean by that is friends and family. Okay, just let people know you have houses for sale, right? You'll be very surprised, right, that your friends and family might have some money saved up, and they're willing to buy a property. If it's a good deal, that they have some cash that they want to invest in, and they might be willing to spend that money on the deal if the deal makes sense for them. But you'll be surprised. It doesn't hurt to say, hey guys, if you know anyone who's looking to buy a property, investment property, I have a great off-market deal at 123 Main Street. Let me know, and you could give them a referral fee. I've done several deals. In fact, most of my recent deals have been just sphere of influence, letting people know that I have some deals off-market. So definitely utilize your circle and your sphere of influence, and let people know that you do real estate, and you have off-market deals available to them at great prices. And then this one, MLS cash buyers. So you would get this through the realtor. You would get a realtor. Realtors, they deal with cash buyers. Now the good thing about this, so these buyers are relatively new, right? These are people who don't buy 5 houses a month, right, or a couple or several a month. They're new investors who are looking to get into the game, right? They're looking to start investing in properties, right? Because they see that the market is hot. They want to get in on the action. But the good news is that they'll pay a lot more than a seasoned investor, right? Because they're not too familiar with this. They haven't been in the game for long enough. So they're willing to pay a little bit more than than a seasoned investor, right? So that's a great way to get some cash buyers that way. Reach out to a investor-friendly realtor, and they can bring in a buyer as well. And usually those buyers pay a lot more than a seasoned investor. Make sense? Give this video a like, guys. If I'm providing some sort of value to, don't forget to give this video a like. It does help with the algorithm. And then lastly, you can JV with local wholesalers. So what you would do is go back to that ghost ad in number 1. You would see a We Buy Houses sign, right? And you would reach out to them and tell them straight up, you're a wholesaler. You have a deal, and if they have a buyer, you guys can work together where it makes sense, where it's a win-win for everybody. Because sometimes they might have buyers, but your buyer might be willing to pay more than what their buyer is willing to pay. So you can make a bigger spread, and you guys work out the details as far as how it's going to be split amongst you guys. But that's another way to get some buyers, right? I've done deals with local wholesalers where their buyer is willing to pay a lot more than my buyer, right? And there's no such thing as competition, only collaboration. So you got to get out of that mind frame, that idea that everyone in your market is your competitor. You got to reframe it and say everyone in your market you can collab with, right? And you can all make money. As long as the deal makes sense, it's a win-win for everybody. Why not, right? So that's another way to get some cash buyers if you don't have a buyer's list. But again, I want to go back to what I said. Buyers are a dime a dozen. I don't worry too much about this because, you know, if you have a deal, you're going to find a buyer. You're eventually going to find a buyer, right? If you don't, you probably don't have a deal. You might have to go back and renegotiate with the seller, which I don't like to do, but, you know, buyers are a dime a dozen, but these are some of the ways that I found that you can find cash buyers. If you have any other ways, I might have missed some. Comment below and let me know other ways you guys have found your cash buyers and done deals. Comment below and let me know. That's my time. My name is Toby Rosario. Peace.